My dear students, I welcome you all to study a new lesson, Sermon at Benares. This lesson is taken from the book Values and Voices. This book is written by Betty Renshaw. Before we study this lesson, let's have some information. The mystery of life, the mystery of death always baffled us. Whenever we lose someone near to us, dear to us, we are very, very sad. This lesson reminds us that death is the ultimate truth. Every creature who is born must die one day. Betty Renshaw Barber is the author of this book, Values and Voices. She was born in Shannon, Mississippi on September 3, 1927. To Pacey and Lillian Renshaw, after graduating valedictorian from Shannon High School, she went on to obtain her Bachelor of Arts degree from Mississippi College and later a Master of Arts from Mississippi University for Women. She taught at the preschool level for several years and eventually she was able to pass her experience and to others by teaching preschool teachers. Betty married Joseph Henry Barber Jr. on 23rd December 1950. My dear students, let's watch an animated video of this lesson. After that, we will discuss the text.
A handful of mustard seeds. Once, there was a young woman by the name of Kisa Gautami. Her only son, an infant, died suddenly. She went to Buddha and cried, "My only child is dead. Have pity on me and bring him back to life." Buddha replied, "I will do so if you bring me a handful of mustard seeds from a household where no one has died." The woman exclaimed, "If that brings my child back to life, I will do as you say." Determined, Kisa Gautami began her search and approached different houses asking for mustard seeds. She went house to house and begged, "Please give me a handful of mustard seeds, but only if no one has died at your house." Wherever she went, people replied, "We could give you mustard seeds, but in the past, a death has happened in our house." Dejected, she continued her search. No, then I don't want it." She went house to house, but could not find a single house where someone had not died. Everyone was ready to give her a handful of mustard seeds. But when she posed the condition, they were taken aback and were unable to help her. Kisa Gautami understood why Buddha had sent her on such a mission. Her sorrow was lightened. She went back and told him what everyone had said to her. Buddha replied, "My daughter, nothing in this world is permanent. Everything is in."
My daughter, nothing in this world is permanent. Everything is unstable and is subject to change, decay, and death. Yes, this lesson is from your textbook, First Flight. In your textbook, First Flight, chapter number 10. The sermon at Benares. The sermon, meaning of the word sermon, religious lectures, religious speech. Benares, it's a very famous place for religious ceremonies, spiritualism. Benares, which is in Uttar Pradesh. This lesson throws light upon the early life of Lord Buddha, who was originally born as a prince in the royal family. On being exposed to the sufferings of the world, which he was earlier shielded from, he left his princehood and went in search of salvation, thus leaving all the worldly pleasures behind. Upon attaining spiritual awakening, he gave his first sermon in the city of Benares, hereby making a lady named Kisha Gotami realize that men are mortal, and wise person should not grieve at what is bound to happen, for it only enhances pain and suffering. Benares, very holy place for Hindus. Many pilgrims come from all over to bath in the Ganges. It is on the bank of river Ganga, the Ganges. Countless Hindus come to Benares to die. Their hope, if they die there, they will attain moksha, heaven. It has 1,500 temples, most of them devoted to Shiva. It is a gathering place for the religiously learned and their disciples. In this lesson, this is the first line from the text. Gautama Buddha, he was born in 563 BC. He died in the year 483 BC. BC, before Christ. That is, before the birth of Jesus Christ. AD, expansion of AD is Anno Domini, in the year of the Lord, after the birth of Jesus Christ. AD, Anno Domini. Gautama Buddha began his life as a prince. His name, Siddhartha Gautama, in northern India. At 12, he was sent away for schooling in the Hindu sacred scriptures. And 4 years later, he returned home to marry a princess. Here the meaning of the word scriptures, collection of books accepted as holy text. Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, Yajur Veda. They had a son and lived for 10 years. This is about they, Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama and his wife. They had a son and lived for 10 years as befitted royalty, because they are from royal family, people of royal blood, royal status. At about the age of 25, the prince, he was very safe from the sufferings of the world. He did not meet any difficulties in his life. Once, when he went out for hunting, he got the chance to see a sick man, then an aged man, then a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. Here, alms, the beggars they are getting So, four things he saw. The four scenes: sick man, an aged man, a funeral procession, and finally a monk begging for alms. These four scenes moved him. He went out into the world to seek enlightenment because he was away from all these difficulties and sorrows. And he saw this and he wanted to know what was the reason. These four scenes moved him. Sorrows, what is sorrow? What is problem? What is sadness? So he wanted to know about it. He wanted to seek the enlightenment. He wandered for 7 years. Finally, he sat down under a peepal tree where he vowed to stay until enlightenment came. He was there. Before that, he wandered. The meaning of the word to walk around. 7 years after that, he came to that place and he sat under the tree, peepal tree. Enlightened after 7 days, he renamed the tree the Bodhi tree. The meaning of the word tree of wisdom. He began to teach and to share his new understandings. At the point, he became known as the Buddha. The meaning of the word the awakened, the enlightened. The Buddha preached his first sermon, that is a religious or moral talk, at the city of Benares. Most holy of the dipping. Here dipping is bathing. Dipping places on the river Ganges, and that sermon has been preserved. That is, preserved means maintain its original state, and is given here. Kisha Gautami had an only son and he died. In her grief, the meaning of the word grief, intense sorrow, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors, asking them for medicine. And the people said, she has lost her senses. The boy is dead. Why does she search for medicine? At length, Kisha Gautami met a man. He replied to her request, I cannot give you. Here, thee is an archaic form of you. I cannot give thee medicine for thy child. Here, thy is an archaic form of the word your. I cannot give you medicine for your child. But I know a physician, he can do. The girl said, pray tell me, sir, who is it? And the man replied, go to Sakya Muni, the Buddha. Kisha Gautami repaired. Here the meaning of the word repaired is went to the Buddha and cried, Lord, Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. Give me the medicine to make my boy to be alive. And when the girl emerged, and he gave this command to go and collect the mustard seed. The mustard seed must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. And he was ready to give the answer, I will cure, but do one thing. Bring the mustard seed. This must be from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. Now she went. When she asked, did a son or daughter, father or mother die in your family? Every house, they asked. They answered her, Alas, the living are few, but the dead are many. In every house, father had died, brother had died, daughter had died. So these things are there. Do not remind us of our deepest grief. Why do you make me to remember our past? That people they began to say. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. Anyone. Now Gisha Gautami became very tired. And she was hopeless. She sat down at the wayside, that is the roadside, watching the lights of the city. They flickered, here the meaning of the word flickered, shone unsteadily. Flickered up and were extinguished, finally cast to end shining. Extinguished again, flickered. She watched everything. At last the darkness of the night reigned. Here reigned is ruled. Now it is the evening time, then the whole place covered with darkness. She considered the fate of men. Their lives flicker up and are extinguished again. Here flicker means bright and dim. Now she came, the Buddha said, the life of the mortals, those who are born to die in this world. Here mortal is those who are born to die. Mortal, we can destroy it. It will die, that is a mortal. The life of mortals in this world is troubled. And the life of mortal is brief, very small, very short, and it is combined with pain. Combined with pain, full of sorrows. For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. Now Buddha began to preach these words. If anyone was born here in this world, he will die. Shakespeare, he has written a poem, 7 ages. All the world are stage. All the men and women merely plays. Yes, every one, those who born here, they have to pass all the stages. Otherwise, in the middle of their lifetime, they may die. So here, after reaching old age, there is death. Death, surely there is death. Of such a nature are living beings. Buddha began to teach these words. And he began to say this example. As ripe fruits are yearly in danger of falling, so mortals, so people, so men and women, when are born, always in danger of death. Another example we say, as all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken, so is the life of mortals. One day it will be broken. Now it is another example. Both young and adult, both those who are fools and those who are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death. Now this is the preaching. This is the words of the Buddha. All people, though you are fools, though you are wise, all fall into the power of death. All are subject to death, likely to be affected by death. Of those who overcome by death, depart from life. A father cannot save his son, nor his kinsman. Here kinsman is a man who is one of the person's blood relations. No relatives can help you. Mark, while relatives are looking on and lamenting, here expressing passionate grief about, lamenting deeply, one by one, mortals are carried off like an ox that is led to slaughter. Every man and women are the subject to death. So the world is afflicted. Afflicted means affected by, afflicted with death and decay. Here decay is rot. Therefore the wish do not grieve. Knowing the terms of the world, here grieve is a feel intense sorrow. This wise do not grieve. Therefore the wise, the people, those who have wisdom, the wise do not grieve, they do not feel sad, because they know the terms of the world. Not from weeping, nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. Buddha began to say this word. If you are very confident and if you are not worrying for anything, you will have peace of mind. On the contrary, if you worry, if you grieve, your pain will be greater and your body will suffer. This is the greatest teaching of Lord Buddha. And he says that he will make himself sick and pale, yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. If anyone is dead, he cannot be saved by lamentation. If anyone cries, if anyone weep, there is no use. If anyone died, the chapter ends. So he advised the people not to cry, not to weep. And he who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrow will become free from sorrow and he will be blessed. Buddha says, please be away from the sorrow, worldly pleasure, worldly sorrow, worldly feelings. If you overcome all sorrow, you will become free from sorrow. You will be blessed. This is the preaching of the Lord Buddha. My dear students, really, this is very, very wonderful lesson. Very, very wonderful advice. The words of wisdom we have studied in this lesson. My dear students, now once again I'll show you an animated video of this lesson. Please watch this and understand more.
Buddha taught many people in many different ways. He taught children by telling stories. Many people were attracted to him and became his followers. People visited him with their problems and asked for his advice. Once a woman, Gautami, approached Buddha.
Mother, tell me, why are you looking sad?
I have lost my only child this morning. I want you to bring my son back to life. I hear that you are a great, holy man. Please help me out of my suffering.
Gautami, I will help you. But you have to bring some mustard seeds from a house where no one has died.
Oh, I'm really overjoyed. I will bring the seeds.
Gautami went throughout the village asking for the seeds.
Sister, has anyone died in your house? Yes. My brother died 2 years ago.
Gautami received such answers from every house in the village.
What will I do now? I am really disappointed.
Gautami returned to the Buddha.
Come, what have you found, Gautami? Where is your mustard seed? And where is your son?
Buddha, today I have discovered that I am not the only one who has lost a loved one. I see how foolish I was to think I could have my son back. I have accepted his death, and this afternoon I buried him.
Gautami, you have learned that death must come to everyone, sooner or later. But if you learn the truth, you can live and die in happiness. Come, I shall teach you.
Buddha taught her, and soon she found more peace and happiness than she had ever known before. Similarly, once Buddha was walking through a village when an angry and rude man came up and began insulting him.
Oh, you are the one who is teaching everyone.
Yes, brother.
You have no right to teach others. You are a fake yourself.
Buddha listened to him, but was not upset by his remarks.
Tell me, if you buy a gift for someone and that person does not take it, to whom does the gift belong?
It would belong to me because I bought the gift.
That is correct. And it is exactly the same with your anger. If you become angry with me and I do not get insulted, then the anger falls back on you. You are then the only one who becomes unhappy, not me. When you hate others, you yourself become unhappy. But when you love others, everyone is happy.
You are right. Please teach me the path of love. I want to become your follower.
Of course, I shall teach anyone who truly wants to learn. Come with me.
Soon, Buddha's teaching spread all over, and he had many followers. One day, one of his followers said,
O Blessed One, you are certainly the greatest of all teachers who ever lived.
Tell me, have you met all the great teachers who have come into the world?
No, of course not.
And you know all the teachers who are alive now or will be born in the future?
No, I do not.
Then it is wrong to say that I am the greatest of all teachers. If you find my teachings helpful, the best thing to do is to practice them. Do not waste your energy praising me. Now tell me, if you went to buy some precious gold, will you pay for it without testing it first?
No, of course not. It might be fake, and then I would be wasting my money.
It is exactly the same way with my teachings. You should test the teaching yourself to see if they are true or not. If you find that they are true and helpful, then practice them. Also, do not criticize the teachings of others. It is exactly the same way with my teachings. There are many other great teachers in the world, and they all have their own way of helping people. So do not insult any of them. Think of yourselves, be kind to others, and respect everyone.
My dear students, you have studied this lesson with an animated video, and now just before you have watched the animated video, that is mixed with the incident which happened in his life, and that is described in the textbook and is out of the textbook, and some other incidents also included in this animated video. My dear students, after studying this lesson, really you will have a very good idea about your life. You will have clear picture about death.